think sometimes what people are maybe talking about too, like if it's someone that exercises, I think sometimes they're thinking like if I eat meat in between, my morning walk and my lifting later on in the day, or if I eat, meat after work before I go to the gym, it just doesn't digest very well because it may take a while. But some of that is true. Like meat might take a while, right? Because if you're eating like a ribeye or something like that, I mean, first of all, it's going to be delicious. It's going to be hard to stop eating, right? So while it would be maybe not a bad idea to eat a small amount of food, a lot of times we just choose not to eat at all because you're like, I don't want those meat and eggs like kind of sitting in my stomach during my workout. So that does take a while to break down, correct?
Well, it does, but you'll break it down quicker than other stuff.
It will feel a lot different than if you ate like a Rice Krispie treat or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the thing is too is that it's very satisfying. It's very satiating. And so you go into like a rest and digest mode because like our biology isn't set up for our workday workout schedule. We're set up to go hunt, get a kill, eat, and rest. And that's what our physiology is set up for. So when we get a big meal of meat and fat and our body goes, right, this is what we need. Why are you expending energy? Shut it down, conserve energy, store all this stuff, rest, rebuild the damage, and then we'll go do it again. It's not saying, so it's going to actually, it's also diverting a lot of blood to your digestive tract, right? So you're just going to be a bit more tired. And that's very natural to get a bit lethargic. And you see, like a lion takes down a gazelle, they eat, and then they sleep for 16 hours, right? And that's normal. And so it's not, so physiologically, you eat that, you're not geared up to then go and hunt more. So your body's saying like, hey, take it easy. We got what we needed. The point of this was eating and then resting. So I've always felt better on working out on an empty stomach and playing on an empty stomach. I've always played rugby games on an empty stomach. I've always competed on an empty stomach, even if it's like a night game or something like that. I just won't eat that whole day. And that's just how I've always naturally felt better. And during the day, I've noticed too, like if I'm working out more, my body will just need more meat. And so I'll find that, one big meal a day at night isn't really enough. So I need to eat throughout the day. But if I eat like a big meal in the day, like I'm just tired the rest of the day, But I think that's more from a nutrition standpoint. Your body's satiated, saying, hey, we don't need to expend energy anymore. We've got what we need. Take it easy. Your point about the contrast between people, like, that's a very good point. And I talk to a lot of people who say, well, I feel pretty good. I don't need to do this. I think this is just a way for people to reverse disease or if they're obese or something like that. And I always sort of just joke with them and say, like, you don't even know how bad you feel, because it's normal. We have this sort of baseline level that we feel, good or bad, and we base that on how we felt the rest of our life. And so it's sort of, this is sort of taking this average and I feel better or worse, as compared to myself. But I think that's sort of just a baseline level of awful that we feel because we don't realize how much better we could feel. I remember when I got all this stuff out of my system 5 years ago and started just eating just normal. I wasn't drinking at the time, wasn't doing anything. So it was just really, that was the change. No vegetables, a lot more meat. That was the only change. And I remember just feeling so much better and looking back on my life and realizing I felt like crap my entire life. And now I'm only feeling the way I'm supposed to. And I felt robbed. I was like, I should have felt like this every single day of my life. And I was really upset that I wasn't. And so that's what I try to tell people, like you say, like, give it a try, see how it affects you. Some people will be more affected than others. I don't have autoimmune issues. I could tolerate these things, but I like feeling just unbelievably amazing every single day. And so that contrast is something that, you have to experience it. To know exactly what it is, and people may not even realize that they haven't felt as great. Good example of this.
Paraproject family, how's it going? Now, Piedmontese Beef is a company we've been eating literally for years now because they have some of the best beef on the market, tons of cuts, tons of different types of beef. Check them out. Andrew, where can they get it?
At Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. And at checkout, enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
There's a lady that I've worked with, and I do some coaching. We have like a carnivore group, a challenge group, a 30-day challenge to say, hey, why don't you just try just meat and water not even spices, not even anything. Just see, just get to a baseline, like pure elimination, pure elemental diet. You're only getting in these nutrients. You're not taking in anything else, and see what it does to you. And you want to start adding things back in? Fine. See how they affect you. And if that effect isn't something that you mind, or if it provides you benefit in other ways just by pure enjoyment, then by all means. But just see, just take a look. There's a lady, she's Native American from Canada, and Inuit heritage. And they just culturally ate a lot of meat. And her daughter had a lot of food allergies and sensitivities as a kid. So they basically eliminated everything except meat for the last 40 years. So she's in her 60s now. She looks like she's 45. And she's just been eating meat for the last 40 years, but she uses spices. And she would use a lot of different spices in her cooking, but it was meat is what they ate. She had 4 autoimmune diseases. And she came to me and said that she couldn't possibly imagine there was just the spices doing this. But she's like, you know what, I'll give it a try. She just cut out the spices, just went to just meat and salt and water. And within 2 months, like her autoimmune diseases were in remission.
Yeah.
So just for her, she was much more sensitive to these things. And so even spices were a problem. I don't have that. I don't have that at all, but it still makes a big enough difference to me that I don't want anything to do with it. I think
even though it doesn't necessarily, at least you don't feel when you add spices to food, you don't feel the difference, right?
I do feel a little difference.
You do?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
with some spices, especially like hot sauces and things like that. Like I remember I had some wings. Within 20 minutes, my face started getting itchy. My nose started getting stuffy. Like I felt like I was getting a bit of like an asthma tickle. Nothing major.
Yeah.
Wings are worth it though.
Yeah.
They're worth the sickness.
And I loved wings, and that's been a problem. But yeah, I noticed that within 20 minutes, and it didn't last that long. But it was just sort of just for the next couple of hours, it just felt a bit off, And so, is that the end of the world? No, I still felt amazing, but I noticed that difference, and so it's like, okay, well that's doing something to me. And if I do that every single day, that's just going to build up and compound. And then I'll start, not feeling great anymore. And so for me, I just really like having nothing else. And I do notice the difference. It's not even that big. It's not like I get, bloody diarrhea or something like that, which some people do. But it's enough for me that's just be like, yeah, I don't need that. And because I know conceptually what these things are doing to me and, and the problems that they can cause, I just don't want anything to do with them on principle. And so for me, it's more academic. Like I just like that has harmful things in it. I don't want it, and that's enough for me.
Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.